When you have children, it's important in the beginning to figure out whether they're going to be an investment to you or an irritation. Many people in our modern culture view having children as adding an appendage to their life, fitting their children in some way. And in this view, this construct, then children are often seen as an irritation. But there are three classes of people who have figured out that children are actually an investment. One is a long line of family musicians. When that little child comes out, they begin to shape and form that child to master a musical instrument. And the Suzuki method is largely built upon this. Starting really young, and you have a goal in mind of where you're going to end up. And you work with the children's actual aptitudes, and in the directions they go and they flower in, you come along behind and add support. So musicians have come to view their children as an investment. Athletes, families of long lines of athletics, begin early with their children to help them reach maximum athletic ability. And then you have kings and queens. They've figured out that their children are going to rule the realm, and they begin to haul them around to all the nations, and they learn to shake hands with dignitaries, and they wouldn't dream of putting their children in a casual school situation. They hire tutors so that their children can get the best training possible. So let's view your child not as an irritation, but as an investment in a couple of ways. Let's look at what you would view a financial investment to be like, and then what a farmer views as an investment. Okay, if you're going to make a financial investment, first of all, you're going to look for what are going to be my end results. What kind of results do I want to finish up with? Okay, and that's going to determine all kinds of things. How much energy I put into it, how much time, how much initial investment I put in. Okay, and so the same is true for a farmer. He has to decide ahead of time how he's going to farm, what he's going to farm, how much he's going to farm, etc. So you can decide with your child, am I going to raise a little waif that fell off the last dump truck through town, or am I going to raise royalty, or am I going to raise godly seed in some way? So that initial long-range look at what you want your results to be is very important. Okay, and then you have to decide how big your investment is going to be. The investor with money decides I'm going to put in $1,000, or I'm going to put in $10,000, or I'm going to put in $1 million in the beginning, because that's going to determine my outcome. The same with the farmer. He decides I'm going to plant 10 rows of corn, or I'm going to plant an entire acre of corn, or I'm going to plant 5 acres of corn. He makes these decisions at the beginning. The seed has nothing to do with those decisions. It's made by the farmer, or in this case, the parent. Okay, so you want to look at how big you want your crop to be, and then you want to consider how much time do I want to invest in this. The farmer has to decide, am I going to go out and play baseball, or am I going to weed my farm and hay my farm this afternoon? Same with the musician and the athlete. Am I going to just engage in passive sports viewing, or am I going to get out there and do it myself? Okay, I have two little analogies for you to leave you with. One is one of 2 trees. We have this at our home. We planted 2 trees as young saplings on the same day in the same soil, but one was close to the house and the other was out by the road. Well, the one that was close to the house was near the water spigot. So every time we would walk by on our way to get groceries or run errands, we would just turn the hose on and give it a little water. The other one, conversely, was out by the road and wasn't as convenient. So we'd give it a little spray maybe once a week, or even sometimes, sadly, once a month. Well, after about 5 years, the tree that was close to our house had grown 25 feet in the air. The tree that was out by the street was only 7 feet. And the only difference was our investment of time, our investment of pouring water on that, our investment of pouring into that tree. And so it is with your children. When they grow up to be adults, the door closes. You have no more time after that. Okay, the second analogy I want to leave you with is that of lippers on horses. One time I was in Vienna and went to see the lippers on horses. And I noticed that their stalls were made out of marble. and they had gold rings for their reins to go in the horses' reins. And they were fed the finest food, and they were groomed with the finest grooming utensils and tools. And they were taken every day out around to march around the arena. They were coached. They were not allowed to spend the day in their pajamas. They were not allowed to spend the day floundering and deciding what they wanted to do. No, their coach had ideas about where they wanted to end up. And of course, now you have these huge, gorgeous white horses with an enormous amount of poundage, able to dance lightly on two hind feet and do all kinds of tricks in the air. That wasn't the horse's decision. That was the coach's decision. And so you are a coach of your child, and viewing your child as an investment is critically important to the outcomes you're going to get. If you liked this talk today, we have a book called Teacher Secrets and Motherhood Savvy. You may order this at homeschoolhowtos.com if you want a greater read on these matters.